Miss Jones. So guys, how you doing? My name is Eric Bigger. What's positive? How you been? How's life? You woke up this morning, you should be excited, and I'm grateful to have you on this call. Before I get started, like I said, life is, I just want to speak about life for a moment before I start. Is that it's very beautiful. Just to wake up and have a place to lay in, have a car to drive, to have income to eat, and do what I have to do in life, and have people like Raven to introduce me to such a great opportunity, and people like you to lend your ear and your time to be with me on this call. I'm very grateful, and I appreciate you, and I know you guys are great at what you do. So, and we're here for a reason. God don't make no mistakes, and today is great. So just to get started, I grew up in Baltimore, Maryland, as Raven said, and growing up I played basketball. Basketball was my gift. Not only was it my gift, it was my tool to stay in school. It gave me something to do, something to focus on, to keep myself out of trouble. Growing up, the men in my family were kingpins. They sold dope, sold drugs, at an endless rate. And I was the nephew, I was the son that seen all this. But I always knew I had a different path, a different goal, and basketball gave me something to focus on. And growing up, I seen a lot, and it put me in positions where I had to learn fast. So growing up, it was the kid counting the money for your uncles, coming in with his bag of money, putting weapons up, and homeboys getting killed at an early age, had to visit friends in prison. And it was never nothing to talk about. It was just something I thought, well, this is my life, and this is what happens. And as I noticed as I got older that a lot of my friends were picking the streets or picking sports. I don't know if you guys heard the old song with Biggie, even sling crack rock, but you got a wicked jump shot. A lot of the friends who played basketball went to school and got away. Some of the guys who chose the streets even passed, gone, and some are still trying to hang on. And it was a privilege to play the sport. As I got older, I was going to school, doing good. I was never a follower, I was always a leader. And one thing I noticed was that I was different. Not different in look or swag or what I said, just what I believed in and how I seen people. And I never wanted to get fronts, I never wanted to have tattoos, I never really cared for women that much and girls coming up, I just, focused on school and sports. And so I went to school, got good grades, and went to City College, high school in Baltimore, if any of you guys familiar with it. From there I went to junior college. Junior college I played ball. And this is the turning point in my life. This is the turning point in my life, the first one. I went to junior college, I played basketball, and I was on a team, was a captain, whatever. But what happened was I was taking an accounting test, and I'm not even gonna lie to you guys. When I was growing up, I thought white people were smarter than us, or just the elite of intelligent. They knew more than blacks or whatever you want to call it. I was having an accounting exam, and there was this white kid right next to me. I didn't know a few of the questions, and I said, you know what? I'm gonna look on his paper. But my intuition was like, no, I ain't going to do it. So what happened was, I didn't look on his paper. We got our test results back. This kid had a 64. I had an 89. At that point, I knew that the white people were smarter than blacks, or whatever the myth was, wasn't true. And I started realizing that, even though I knew I was smart before that test, that you can get more if you learn more. Started selling in school and getting academic awards and grant money for high achievements, captain on the basketball team, in a school paper and a catalog. And I'm like, wow, it was in Howard Community College, one of the richest, counties in Maryland, Howard County. And these people was glorifying me, and I'm just like, I got something. So from there, did my 2 years, had 2 AA degrees, one in general studies, one in business, took a lot of credits, took a lot of courses, earned who I was, made my name, whatever, go to Hampton. As I go to Hampton, I was a walk-on the basketball team. I probably was on a team for about a month, and then here's another turning point in my life. I decided not to play basketball. So the reason was, this what it was. As I would go to study hall every day with the players, and they playing, these guys had scholarships. But they was taking the scholarship for granted, and I knew I had already got 80 credits done. I'm trying to get out of school. It's my junior year. I just wasn't into it no more. I didn't love it, like I thought I did. So I was like, man, I don't think I want to play, but I didn't want to let my friends or my family down because this is what they knew me for. I was a gym rat. They loved me like, yeah, come on, E, that's what you do, right? So I'm like, man, God, like, you know, I'm at this point, I'm like, you know, is this all you do your whole life? It's like your baby. It's like you raise it. Like, how can you give it up? I went to church, service, you know, and I really wasn't into church growing up. You know, nobody forced me, no one told me about prayer or anything, but I always had faith. I believed in things, you know, because I seen them and, you know, went to church. The sermon, the passage of the day was, follow your heart. I said, wow, how can it come in such a perfect timing? So, you know, your intuition, that's your heart. You know, my intuition was like, you need to hang up the sneakers. You know, you need to give them up. So, I made a decision. And as you know, when you make decisions, good things happen, whether you like it or not. It's just how it goes. So, I made a decision, and after making a decision, I'm like, damn, I'm not playing ball no more. So what happened was I had a lot of time on my hand. My first semester at Hampton, I had a 3.8. I was, you know, because I was a basketball player. I was too cool for school. I didn't really deal with people. I stayed in the library. I just did my own thing. So I had a 3.8. So, you know, that's pretty good, you know, coming in. So having all the time, it's like, man, I can't have good grades and not have something else other than that. I need to get involved. Student leadership program, they had that. So February of that following year, my junior year, I was on a radio show. And a girl was like, Eric, would love to come on as a, you know, just a co-host or a volunteer for Questions for Valentine's Day. So they were talking about love and life and relationships. So it was fun. I loved it. You know, it was cool. So a month later, they was having opportunities to be on the show as a show producer, carpet person, just whatever, but not a co-host. So make a long story short, I applied for the position. Like, yeah, I want to be part of the Yard Radio Show. If anybody familiar with Atlanta, they had it in Clark University, Spelman, and all those good schools down there. And what happened was, they wanted me to be a co-host. So I'm like, co-host? Like me? Why am I a co-host? Like, I play ball, I go to school, I don't do this. Like, I'm good. They're like, no, we think you should be a co-host. Mind you, the option wasn't even available. I said, okay, I mean, why not? So I had to audition for it. It was a freshman guy, and it was me. So I got the position. So my senior year, coming in, fast forward, co-host position, I was a student leader. You know, student leaders are people like orchestrate everything on campus, from the parties to homecoming to the fashion show, they put everything together. I was in that, and I was in men's caucus, you know, I was just involved. And what I learned was that I was such a humble guy coming up that I always knew that I didn't want the attention, but God kept putting me in the light. Like, nah, you gotta go, sir. No, you're gonna be a co-host. You're gonna be the fashion show host. And I'm like, me, I never did this. So from there, I start realizing, like, okay, I'm not playing ball, but I have some type of impact on people where people want me to be in front of these cameras or on these radio shows. But I never did it, right? But sometimes, like I said, you know, you don't get to choose your destiny, it chooses you, right? So I did it, you know, my first year, my last year, my senior year, I did the radio show. You know, people loved it, like, oh, you know, E-Burger is funny, this, that, the third. I was the co-host, and we vibed and clicked, and, you know, it was fun. And, you know, men's caucus was great, and student leadership, I learned a lot about who I was. So, me being who I am and coming from such, you know, Baltimore and graduating and, you know, just working, it's just like, you know, that's a good thing to do. And it's like, okay, now what's after this? I'm like, man, you know what, man? I always wanted to go to LA, man. You know, I want to go to grad school, like, man, because look, I got a business degree. My degree was in entrepreneurship. And it's like, I want to go to LA, go to USC, UCLA, because all I was seeing was what it looked like in my eyes. Like, this would be fun. Like, my grandma would be proud, my mother would be proud. Like, yeah. So what happened was when I graduated, and my father, you know, we go back on that story, he grew up in the streets. First thing he did, he called me, say, little E, come home, I want to talk to you. What's up, Pops? Man, I'm proud of you, son. I love you, but I don't think you should be in Baltimore. What you mean? Man, I think you should go to LA and try to find a job. Really? Yeah, man, I think, okay. You know, you don't really think about it. That's just parents being parents. You know, they feel a certain way. So then I have a friend whose mother was giving me a graduation card. You know how it is when you graduate, you get all the awards. And she said, Eric, you know what? You shouldn't be here. You should go to LA. Like, it's so bad here. Like, I'm like, really? Yeah, go find a job. Go on Indeed or, you know, whatever those websites where you can find a job. And I was like, okay. So I'm big on signs. Like, that's 2 signs right there. If y'all aren't really listening or paying attention, I'm big on signs. That's 2. So then I go back to Hampton to get my stuff from my apartment. I said, you know what? I like sports. So the first thing I put in, LA Sports Marketing. LASportsMarketing.com, something like that come up. I apply for the position. 2 hours I get the email. We want to interview you right away. Get out of here. I said, this ain't real. This ain't real. You want to interview me? I'm like, okay. So from my perspective, that's confirmation. That's 3 signs. I have my father, my friend's mom, and a job opportunity. So I was like, well, I won't be there until mid-June, which is June 12th was the date I left. So I told my parents, like, look, man, I need to have a graduation party, and I'm gone. So what happened was a cousin of mine, she was a travel agent, and I booked a one-way flight. I had my graduation party June 5th. June 12th, I was on a plane. I was going, I had $1,000. I knew one person. One person was my barber. He was a celebrity barber, and I stayed with him. And when I landed, I was like, damn, I'm in LA, like, this is dope. So mind you, when I landed, I didn't have nowhere to stay because it was my friend's honeymoon. Like, not honeymoon. It was their anniversary, I'm sorry. It's their anniversary. So I was kind of coming on that. So I stayed in a hotel, Culver City, for 2 days. And my boy came pick me up, stayed at his spot for 2 weeks. And things just started happening. And it was just so surreal how things were just unraveling. Like, I'm talking about every number that I got from everybody back home, I used it. I'm talking about, you know, you have that friend or that cousin or that uncle you never speak to or talk to, and they give you your number and you use it. So what happened was, it was 2 weeks in, mind you, my boys let me stay in his spot for free. I left with, what, $1,000. So after that, I didn't really have nowhere to go. I didn't know what I was going to do. I was in LA. What, am I going to catch the bus? Like, LA's big. So I went to the club one night with a friend that knew somebody back home. I ran into a girl I went to high school with. Mind you, this girl in my high school, my junior year, she got kicked out. And she went to Western. And I got a number, and we hooked up, and she looked, I swear she was the angel in my life. And what people don't know is, when she picked me up to say, you know what, I'm going back to Clark, Atlanta, because she went to Clark for a Greek picnic. You can stay at my spot. So I stayed at my boy's spot. I got a car. She had already left. I couldn't get in her house because the door was locked. So I slept in her car for a night. I was just in a hotel, by a hotel on the street in North Hollywood, and I slept in her car for a night. And I'm like, damn, like, all right, whatever. So the next day, I go into her apartment. I'm cool. I'm like, all right, cool. There's so many people in there. It's like 5, 6, 7 people. It's kind of uncomfortable. It's kind of different. Like, this ain't, you know, you only got but so much. The second day I was in there, her landlord said, you gotta go. I'm like, what you mean? Like, this is, my friend stays here. I need to see your driver's license and you gotta go. You're not on this lease. So at that point, I'm like, all right, well, I gotta figure it out. So I call her, and she, like I said, she was an angel. She finds me a spot in North Hollywood, 1-bedroom apartment, but someone lives there. He's renting out a room. So thank God for that. I get into that opportunity, and I sleep on this man's couch for a year, paying $500 a month. Mind you, I know this man from nowhere. We found the apartment on Craigslist, and he was a limo driver. He was Arab, you know. He did his own thing, and it wasn't until after 3 to 6 months in LA that I realized, like, yo, I can't go back home. But see, because I was at Hampton, I could just drive home for 4 hours. And what I want y'all to understand is that when you're choosing your destiny, it will be uncomfortable, it will be different, but eventually you will find yourself. And when I made a decision, it wasn't a risk. Really listen, really take this down, really listen to this. When I made a decision, it wasn't a risk. So what I'm saying is that nothing has meaning but the meaning you give it. So if me leaving Baltimore to come to LA on the other side of the country was a risk, I probably would have been afraid to take it to make the jump. But in my mind, me coming to LA was like going to college. Like, oh, this is something I gotta do. I had to go. But see, the thing about it is, with most people, is the connotation of things, the meaning towards certain words and, you know, circumstances scare people. oh, I don't know how to. But I will tell you, when you jump out and you just go out there and do it, it's beautiful. So, come to LA. Think I'm going to grad school. Went to UCLA, didn't like it. It's boring, no energy. USC, loved it. Did an info session. USC went $50,000 a year. I don't have that type of money. I don't have no family out here. What am I do? So like she said, I graduated from Hampton, had the highest GPA in my majors, you know, cool guy, very intelligent, you know, well-spoken, whatever you want to say. I'm talking about when I applied to every job, from Fendi, from Gucci, from the Fox Sports, the Sports Center, to the W Hotel, the Renaissance. I'm talking about I couldn't get a job nowhere with my degree. I'm like, what is this? Are you serious? I'm talking about gym. Nobody would hire me. I'm like, yo, what is this? What's going on? How can I get a job? I graduated. I went to school for 4 years. I earned my degree. Come on now. And I learned that, you know what? Nobody care. Nobody care in this town. You ain't nobody to anybody in LA. You know what that taught me? Humble yourself. Humble yourself. Because you haven't proved yourself to LA to deserve a job you think you should have because of your resume back home. So you know what my first job was? A year after college? I mean, a month after graduating? It was a shoe store job. I was getting paid $8 an hour. Tell me that ain't humble. That's a humble position. I'm talking about you go to school for 4 years, you bust your tail, you work hard, you get good grades, you get awards. $8 an hour. And I said, yo, what is this? What is this? But I said, you know what? It is what it is. I mean, I don't have no choice, right? I gotta go through to get through so I can keep going. So I went through and I kept going, right? And I'm telling you people, like, it was points where I had $10 to my name. Like, it was even a gas or food. It was like, what you gonna do? Like, I didn't know. I was shook. Like, it was so uncomfortable. Like, you know, I was scared to talk to women. Like, cause I'm like, I can't even provide for you. I can't provide for myself. You know what I'm saying? Like, what is this? This can't be life. It gotta be more. You know, it's just praying and praying and praying, and you know, and I started getting into the acting thing and the modeling thing, and you know, and things started working for me. But what I was saying, that before all that stuff was taking off, I was going through so much internally and personally that I didn't know who I was. I thought I did. You know, my first year, you know, a few months, I'm helping my friend with a clothing line. Maybe I'd be his partner. That didn't take off. You know, then a little bit after working at the shoe store, I get an opportunity to work at another job. Okay, here we go. I'm making more money. It was Abercrombie & Fitch. They recruited me on spot at my job. Oh, you could do an interview? I never went to Abercrombie & Fitch a day in my life. Like, black people don't wear that. That was my thoughts. So, I get the position at Abercrombie. Things start happening for me. You know, start making a little bit of money, got benefits. And at that time, a few months before that, I had did a commercial, a background commercial, a Jennie-O turkey burger. And make a long story short, God is so great, I got added as a feature and I got residuals on a national commercial. So I'm talking about where you go from working at a shoe store making barely nothing to getting a job, and then with a month or two in a job, you getting checks from a national commercial, residual checks. I'm talking about $1,500, $2,000, $1,200. You like, damn. You like you on the top of the world, like, damn, this is all right. But see, at some point, I forgot who I was. You know, going out, having fun, partying. You know, I'm comfortable. I'm good. Buy my car, you know, do the whole nine. And then I'm just like, what am I out here doing? Do I really want to work this job? Do I really want to be here? And mind, I love the Abercrombie because I love people. You know, the atmosphere, the energy. But I said, I don't have the opportunity to reach the people at the capacity I want. I love people. I want to help them. You know? So, you know, I played ball. I grew up. You know, I can train. I got a few celebrity trainer friends, you know. And it was January of this year. I made that decision. Here's another turning point. You see that? That's two. This is three. I quit my job. But not only did I quit my job not going into another job. You know what the other job was? Myself. And when I say myself, like, yeah, I was working for myself, but I had to figure myself out. So at the time, you know, I get into training. February 1st, I'm all me, just working. And I went through so much because I didn't know anything about, you know, invoices and contracts and, you know, consultations and, you know, hand over fist. What's up, boy? I train you. What's up? You $50 or whatever. I was just doing it on the go. But what I learned, the more I was putting out and the more I was learning about who I was becoming something. More than I could think of. And I knew who I was, but I didn't know who I was. But it took me to take several leaps of faith to get to where I'm at today. And I'm still learning, and I'm still earning, I'm still growing. And I always say, if it doesn't challenge you, it doesn't change you. You know, the famous Jim Rohn says, to work hard at a job provides a living. To work hard on yourself provides a fortune. You have to work hard on yourself if you want more in your life to come. And I learned that no job can really fulfill me the way I can fulfill myself. Because, let me tell you, success without fulfillment is incomplete. I don't care what nobody say. Listen, I live in LA. I done been around some people with a lot of money. And they're so poor that they got a lot of money and that's it. Because they're poor inside. Outside looks good. They don't have real friends. They don't have real relationships. You know? So I said, well, how can I help these people? Give them me. Give them energy. Train them. Inspire them. So, you know, I send out text messages here and there and motivational quotes, and people start gravitating to me like, I like that. I like that. And then I'm like, yeah, I like that too. Like, you know, this is me. Then I started noticing I'm making a change. There it is. There it is. I got something. And at that point, I said, I know who I am. I know what I'm set out to do. Lead, guide, and direct people into the right way, into that destiny, to help them get to the next goal or opportunity. But what I learned is that when choosing your destiny, like I said, it's going to be very uncomfortable. It's going to be very different. But you have to make a decision. The thing about life is, people are so afraid to be judged that they won't do anything. And at the end of the day, in the back of their mind, they hurting inside. Because I try to tell people, when you make a decision, good things happen. But see, when you don't make the decisions you know you should make, you don't feel great. Therefore, you go to bed with that mind and that body you in when you know you should do something. But nah, Jim and them ain't gonna like me. Sandy and them ain't gonna like me. They gonna say, yeah, that's what you wanna be. Girl was talking to today, said, you know, I'm back to normal life. I said, sweetheart, you understand, you're not normal. You're a mega star. You're not normal. So if you look at normal, if you wanna be normal, then go ahead. I'm not knocking it. But if you know you got a gift and a passion, go out and get that. Go out and be that. Don't let nothing in this world stop you from being you. No one can be you more than you. Nobody gonna care about you more than you. That's what you gotta understand, man. Life is not a game. You can't take it for granted. Time is moving. People are growing. Things are changing. People are learning. You gotta go through to get through so you can keep going. But you have to make the decision. I was telling a friend the other day, the less decisions you make, the less power you have. The more decisions you make, the more power you have. Start making a decision. And I tell people all the time, don't be afraid to be legendary. I'm telling you, it's necessary. Because what you gotta understand, what I told you before, no one can be you more than you. You have to be in your own lane and dominate it and be a legend in that lane. You know how people say, I'm better than my father. You can't be better than your mother or your father because you're not them. Come on now. How can you be better than something that you ain't? No one is better than me and I'm better than no one else. You understand what I'm saying? Because no one can be you more than you. You think the way you think for a reason. You believe in what you believe in for a reason. You were born at a certain day at a certain time for a reason. Take advantage of it. Stop taking your friendships for granted. Stop taking your life for granted. Your health is your wealth. And I'm not talking about physical health. I'm talking about mental health. Feed the mind, in the body, in the soul. Because at the end of the day, someone looks up to you. If you're on this call, you're on this call for a reason. Because you have impacted people, or you're changing lives, or you're doing something better than the average. And that's just because this is Prosperity Club, right? We ain't playing games here. It's even yay or nay. We don't do no in between. Find your niche, find your lane, and dominate in it and be a legend. Do not be afraid to fail. People gotta understand, in order to win in life, you gotta fail. And failure is nothing but feedback. You can't get discouraged. You know, you can't get discouraged because that's part of life. It's a process. You know, life is like this. When you take a leap of faith and you choose a goal or a destiny, and when you jump into it, when I jumped into training, I was shook. I didn't know what was going on. I was off. But you know what that is? It's like a baby first being born and he come out crying. Why is he crying? Because the atmosphere it's in is so different and uncomfortable, they don't know what to do. But what happens? The baby adjusts. It's because it grows up and it develops. You have to turn your shoulds into a must. You know you should take that leap of faith and go to LA. You know you should go to New York. You know you should be this fashion designer. You know you should be this PR person. You know you should be this coach. You must do it. You must make it happen. Because if you don't do it, nobody else will. And at the end of the day, people don't care about what you go through. People don't care about what you've gone through, how you was raised, what your mother went through, what you ain't had. They might try and hear that. That's one thing I learned about the world. They don't give a F. Excuse my language. They don't care. Because they feel like no one cared about them. But you have to care about yourself. You got to love yourself first before you love anyone else. Life is grand, people. Life is beautiful. You woke up. I try to tell people all the time, like that's why you understand when I say I'm grateful, because I have someone listening to me. You know how many people wish they had just one person listening to them? People just throw them off and just pay them no mind. People wish they had friends. Wish they had the idea to start their own business. Wish they would have went to school and got a degree. I'm telling you, people, the things we take for granted, someone is praying for. Don't take nothing for granted. Because it can be gone today. And you'll never see it tomorrow. My uncle always told me growing up, he said, nephew, you can make one false move and mess up your whole life. You know what I'm saying? He said, you gotta be around people that do what you do. Some people don't vibrate on your frequency level, so it's not that you're knocking them, it's just they're not helping you become a better you. So understand who you with, who you hang with, your surroundings. Well, if you want to be good, get great. If you want to be great, be phenomenal. If you want to be phenomenal, just be crazy amazing. Develop yourself. Learn from yourself. Love yourself. Give yourself. Challenge yourself. Because what they say, I know growing up in the streets, easy come, easy go. But the thing about it is, when you get uncomfortable, when you take that leap of faith, you're going to find out who you are. Because you have to. You had no choice. You know how many people you know, single mothers or people backs against the wall, and they make it happen. It's not because they want to, because they have to. I tell people all the time, you know why entertainers and basketball players and all these people get paid, and actors get all this money? They say, why? I say, because they got to go through the most to do the most. They got 5 a.m. flights. They got to do sound check. They got to do rehearsal. They got to audition. They got to dance. They got practice. They don't see their family. It's a sacrifice. What are you giving up to get what you want? See, the thing about us people in America, instant gratification. We want right now. I tell my clients all the time, I say, look, I'm not training you for right now. I'm training you for 3 years from now. And I'm not training your body. I'm training your mind to transform your body. So you know 3 years from now what to do and how to do it. Because the way you are now is going to be a lot different than where you are 5 years from now. But we got to prepare for that. What are we doing to prepare to get to the next level? And don't have friends that just sugarcoat everything. Oh, no, Sandy. No, Jim, you good, boy. No, you cool. No, forget that. I tell my sisters all, I got 3 sisters. I tell them all the time. I don't like that. You don't need that. You're better than that. Because you want the friends that's going to make you uncomfortable. Yo, Big, yo, E, what's up with that book? What's up for that speaking engagement you supposed to, what's going on? You want somebody that's going to make you uncomfortable. Because when you're uncomfortable, you find out the real you. Why do you think when so many people get incarcerated and get locked up, they start snitching? Because that uncomfortable kick in and that real them come in. And you see who you are. You know, people look at people and say, oh, you ain't this, you ain't that. You don't know what that person been through to get to where they go. So what I'm saying, people, is that embrace it. Embrace all your fears, all the things that make you cry and I don't know, I might be lit. Embrace it. Embrace it. You ever have something in your heart and your mind you know you want to do, but you're afraid to do it because everyone doesn't approve it? You have to do it. Where there's a can't, it has to be a must. When you say you can't do it, you must do it. Because you're not allowing yourself to become yourself. If you understand what I'm saying. You can't be afraid to fail, guys. And what I'm saying, if you want to prosper in this world and you want to prosper in your field, you need to challenge yourself. You need to go through things. You need to ask questions. Not why me, or you ask how can I make more money? How can I become a better person? How can I inspire someone? How can I help my mother? How can I have a better relationship with my significant other or my family or my friends? Be genuine. Be real. Be you. Don't ignore your intuition. Your intuition helps you make better decisions. Because about your intuition, it never lies to you. Now your mind plays tricks on you all the time. And we know that. But your heart, that gut feeling, is nothing better than that. So be bold, be confident, love yourself, and learn. Be in a learner's game. I tell people, I'm in a learner's game. I'm going to be learning for the rest of my life. Because there's no maximum to the word better. There's no maximum to getting better in life. And try new things. Try different things out. It's okay. You know, I tell guys all the time, I say, yo, why are you trying to be so hard all the time? Smile. Be happy. Life ain't that bad. I tell girls, look, know your worth. You better than that. So what I'm saying is that people, at the end of the day, you know who you are. You know what you want. And you know what you got to go to get what you want. But the thing about it is, you're scared to go get what you want because the people that look at you judge everything you do. And you don't want to be the person that say, oh, I ain't trying to be that person or that person. I forget that. Go be that person. So you can be that person that they talk about. Yeah, that's me. Because I made a decision on my life. I believed in myself. And I'm going to go get it. I ain't going to let nothing stop me. So don't let nothing in this world stop you. I'm talking about your mother, your father, your sister, don't let nothing stop you. The only person that's going to stop you is you. I'm gonna give you one more story and I'm going to wrap it up. So, I was in LA. I had my car for about 7-9 months. My car broke down on the middle of the highway. I had to sell it. I sold it, right? So I was on a bus in Metro. That's another thing, part of my story. It humbled me. I was on a bus in Metro for 7 months, catching the bus. Mind you, LA is huge. I'm talking about humongous. It's not like New York, you catch a train everywhere and nah, it's not like that. So I had to deal with the walking and the catching the bus. Thank God my job was only 5 minutes away on a Metro. So, like I told you, I had commercial checks coming in, which helped me. I'm proud of that. And I had to buy a car, right? So I go to the dealership. And it's a car I want. And I'm like, yes, great price, everything. I call my father. I say, Pop, somebody get this car, this, that, and the third. This car is just, oh, son, man, I don't think you should get that car. Wow, man, you know, they bad cars. They don't do too well. So mind you, look, guys, this is my father. Like, I love this man. He helped create me. I love him. And what do? The people that are so close to us, and that we love, we listen to the most, and we gravitate to. So if their opinion gives out, we believe in it. So I called my boy, like, man, Mike, I'm showing you this car. He said, man, look, you know what you've been going through in these last few months. Man, you know what you need to do. You know what I'm saying? You need to. So what I'm saying was that most people get so influenced by the people they love and close to the most that it stopped them from making decisions that's going to propel them the most. So you know what I did? I put that down payment down. I went to go get that car because I said to myself, Pops, you're not paying for this car. You're not giving me no money to survive out here. You give me your wisdom, thank God for it. Should not give me anything other than that financially to help me this car. So at that point on, I said, you know what? I have to have my own brain, my own counsel. I mean, it can be a significant level. You can have love for them and everything. But the only person opinion count is your own. Because you're thinking those thoughts for a reason. And go for it. Only person you can be mad at is yourself, because you learned from a decision you made on your own. Don't put your faith in another man's hands, and don't let someone else make your decision. Choose your destiny and become great. Like I said, dominate your lane and be a legend in it. No one can be you more than you. Life is beautiful, guys. But like I said, man, I really appreciate you guys tuning in and giving me the opportunity to speak some things to you. You know, you can learn some things about me, and you know, getting better will never get old. Getting better will never get old. Going through life and learning and failing, it will never get old. You know, and you just gotta accept things for what they are, but they don't have to be that always. They don't have to stay that same. You know, and be careful of the words you say and the things you think about. Don't let your thoughts in your mouth be your enemy. You'll talk yourself out of something before you believe in it. You know, feed your mind positive thoughts, positive people. Pray, meditate, read, learn, live, love, give, prepare, make decisions, be a leader. And if not, go to someone that's doing what you want to do and get around them and let them be your mentor and let that energy rub off. Because at the end of the day, you got to live with the decisions you make. And choosing your destiny is one big decision. And I know some of you people, well, how do you know it's your destiny? Because you know who you are when you are who you are. You're not faking it. It's real. It's natural. And you can't stop talking about it. You can't stop doing it. You don't know why you keep gravitating to this thing over here. You might be a writer. You might be a stylist. You might be an entrepreneur. You might be good with your hands. You might be a carpenter. I don't know. You're something. Everybody has a gift. You got to tap into that. You know, I always thought that I didn't have everything I needed to be who I want. You know how some people, I can't wait, man. I get this check, I'm going to do this, or I get this money, or I get another job promotion. Nothing's missing. You have everything you need right in front of you. Well, I don't know people in LA. I ain't go to this school. That's a lie. You don't need none of that. Create your own luck. You got to learn how to maximize what you have. You have to tap into that other self and maximize that potential, because it's waiting for you. But signing off, guys, like I said, I appreciate everything. I love y'all. Hope you love yourself. I'm open to questions if that's cool. And, you know, thanks again. And hopefully y'all took some notes and got some information to change your situation. And you're not afraid to fail now. And you know what you're going to do after today. And hopefully make that decision that everybody think you shouldn't. Never be afraid to fail and always win. Have that mindset. Thanks again. Appreciate you.